So at this point, it's time to go from unorganized to organized because this is not going to work. For somebody who has a few hats, that's not the best way to do it. So if you care about your hats, if you're trying to take care of your hats, if you're trying to keep the form in them, this is obviously not going to work. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that you go from this.
So let's back up a little bit to this afternoon. So as you spend time going to rallies and motorcycle events and different locations around the world, you have a tendency as a biker to pick up a souvenir or two. And for most bikers, that souvenir is a t-shirt. But for a few of us, that souvenir is a t-shirt and a hat. So it just depends on what you're looking for and what you're interested in. And I have to admit that I don't know that I was ever really a hat guy until recently. But what I have discovered is that every now and then I find a really cool hat that's really hard not to buy, and so I pick it up. So, as you can see, I had a little bit of a cluster of hats that I didn't have a place for. So, I thought I would put together a nice display so that I could hang up some of those hats that I really enjoy. And it's not a permanent thing, so you can actually just pull down a hat, put up a hat, change them around. The design mechanism for the hanger is basically a sticky back with one screw that helps hold you on the wall. And you're not holding a lot of weight, so it doesn't have to be real fancy or heavy duty. I have seen a lot of people actually make shelves for hats as well, and that's also a good option. What I like about the option that I picked was it gives you the ability to actually hang it from the button in the middle of the top of the hat, which I think has a tendency to help hold the shape of the hat. And so I was fairly excited about that. All right, so this afternoon, I decided to kind of hang this up right above my art. And so what I did was I measured center of my display case, and so that I would have center of that wall. And I ran a set of hats up through the middle. And what I did was I spaced the hangers 6 inches apart. I figured I needed about 4.5 or 5 inches per hat, depending on the actual height of the brim. So I modified that a little bit, and then I added an inch to it, and so I came up with 6 inches tall. And then on order, I have a couple of my pictures coming that I'm going to hang up as well. So what I wanted to do was leave myself 40 inches of space in between the middle column and the outer column. So you'll see me here kind of run the level straight up the wall so that I have a nice level place to work, so that I can hang hats level. And they're not all the same size, and they're not all, so you're going to have a little variation, but at least the hangers are straight. So once I managed to kind of give myself a nice vertical line for the middle row, then I measured out 40 inches on each side, and then I ran the level across so that the hats in the middle would be level with the hats on the left and the right columns. And then I made sure to give myself a nice straight vertical line, and from there I measured up every 6 inches so that I knew that my tick marks on the right side for my hangers was the same as my tick marks in the middle, so that my hats would be level all the way across. And then really that was pretty straightforward. So I had the middle tick marks, I had the right tick marks, and all I had to do was rinse and repeat on the left side for those tick marks as well. And speaking of rinse and repeat, so once I had all the measurements and the tick marks on the wall, then all I had to do was to go back and line up all of the hangers. So the hangers were all fairly straightforward, and they had a screw in the middle of the hanger. So all I had to do was make sure that it was relatively straight across and level, and push it against the wall, because the adhesive would hold it in place while I put a screw in it. So it was pretty straightforward. And then this part was just rinse and repeat for all 15 hangers. All in all, this went really smooth and quick. I think all in all, it took me about 2 hours. It took me longer because I had to record everything and film everything and take pictures, and so that always takes a little longer, but I'm glad that I got to share it with you guys. Hopefully you get a little good information out of it, and who knows, maybe you'll use it for your hats. As always, I appreciate you watching these videos. I know this one was a little less motorcycle and a little more studio, but I always try to share everything with you guys so that you don't miss out. And who knows, maybe one of these days you'll have some interest in hanging some hats. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll catch you on the next video.